Thanks, Arlene. This week, for Black History Month, Color My World brings us to San Antonio, Texas, where we learn about the Buffalo Soldiers, who they were, the role they played in American history, and a local group that actively carries on their legacy, sharing the history, costumes, and artifacts with the next generation. Bureau Chief Jane Kathleen Gregorio reports.
At the San Pedro Springs Park, visitors can enjoy not only the many amenities the park has to offer, but they can also take in a piece of American history, the historical marker of the Buffalo Soldiers, 9th Regiment. In honor of Black History Month, our story brings us to San Antonio, Texas, where a local group honors the legacy of the Buffalo Soldiers, a name of endearment given to African American soldiers who mostly served on the western frontier from the 1800s all the way to World War II.
African Americans have fought in every war that the United States has participated in, from the Revolutionary War to War of 1812, the Civil War, the Spanish-American War, all of the wars. African Americans were valiant warriors for the United States. Because of the way that the Buffalo Soldiers fought, they did not give up. They were true warriors, true fighters, and the Native Americans respected them. And that's how the term Buffalo Soldiers was established. And you may hear people say, well, it was because the African Americans looked like the buffalo in their color, or their hair texture was like the Buffalo Soldiers' hair. But the real reason was because the Native Americans were highly respectful of the buffalo. The buffalo, because of the way they fought, it was difficult for them to kill the buffalo. And sometimes the buffalo killed them. And again, initially, the soldiers even thought that it was an insult. And then when they learned exactly how the Native Americans felt about the Buffalo Soldier, to be called a Buffalo Soldier was a great deal. During the Civil War, the African American soldiers were called colored troops. 1866 there was an Authorization Act which took the Army from being basically a militia to a regular army. For the first time, we had representation in Congress that were African American. They demanded that some of those were colored troops. Those were the 9th and 10th Cavalry, the 38th, 39th, 40th, and 41st Infantry that later became 24th and 25th Infantry. The 10th Cavalry was formed at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, while the 9th Cavalry moved from Greenville, Louisiana to Fort Sam Houston to conduct their basic training. That's why our chapter, Bexar County Buffalo Soldiers, adopted the 9th Cavalry to represent them. The services that Bexar County Buffalo Soldiers provide is primarily education. And we don't reenact, we represent. We talk about the history. That's the difference between us and reenactors. We go into schools, we go into churches, we go into community groups and provide lectures, as well as show a display of our artifacts from the period. We also provide an annual Veterans Day ceremony at the National Cemetery, where some Buffalo soldiers were buried, as well as General Bullis, who was also the namesake for Camp Bullis. General Bullis was a Buffalo soldier. We celebrate a Buffalo Soldier Month in July, where we open the park, and we have a park that was donated to us by CPS back on 1866. And I want you to remember, the majority of the Buffalo Soldiers were ex-slaves. So they went from getting zero money to $13 a month. And their mission was to move westward with the settlers, to protect the settlers from outlaws as well as Native American renegades. So the 9th and 10th Cavalry had the lowest desertion rate of any other service members. During the Indian War period, there were 14 Buffalo Soldiers that earned the Medal of Honor and 4 Seminole Scouts. Now we have females in the infantry. Well, Kathy Williams broke that barrier a long time ago because she was in the 38th Infantry. She enlisted under the name of William Cathay. She was tall for her time. She was 5'10", and where most of the guys were relatively short. She made the Army believe that she was a male. And the Army finally discovered she was a female, and when she became ill and discharged her because of fraudulent enlistment. To become a Bexar County Buffalo Soldier, you inform the Bexar County Buffalo Soldier that you're interested in becoming a member. Most of us are retired from the military, but that is not a prerequisite of being a Bexar County Buffalo Soldier. We just recently unveiled a monument or a historical marker in San Pedro Springs where they did their basic training.
Hello, my name is Dr. Michelle Jefferson. I am a Lieutenant Colonel in the United States Army. I am a Veterinary Corps officer, and I was actually present for the dedication of this Buffalo Soldier marker. I'm just proud that finally the Buffalo Soldiers are given the respect that they deserve, and having this marker here in San Pedro Springs is the respect that they deserve.
In San Antonio, Texas, I'm Jane Kathleen Gregorio, Eagle News.